what's going on, guys? So we're actually doing our first collab. We met a fella that on the way up to where we're going in Maine, he got behind us, and he's a lobster YouTuber, Lobster Bros. Billy Bob Faulkingham, super cool guy. He actually got some footage of us traveling, and actually stopped me and asked me if I wanted to send it to us, and I said of course. And then when we got back up into Lubbock, we looked him up, and he has a cool YouTube channel. He does lobster fishing and everything else. He's also a representative for the state here in Maine. He's an advocate for the fishermen, which I have a tremendous amount of respect for. He basically saw a problem in the amount of regulation that was happening and decided to change it from the inside. Instead of doing like what we all do and fuss and gripe and complain, he ran for office and got elected and is making changes from the inside, and that is tremendously cool. If more people did things like that, we would be probably in a little better position. But we are en route to his boat now. We just saw his new boat, or his new old boat. Liz got some footage of that. I don't know how much she captured, but the boat we just saw capsized a few years back. I think a few years back, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Pretty scary ordeal, but it's a big boat. And he's restoring it and rebuilding the thing from basically the ground up. And it should be on the water this year, he says. But we're going to see what he does. See you guys in a minute. Smidge tight. Huh? That was a smidge tight.
I've fished here my whole life, fished here, lived here. Up there is the co-op.
That white building?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that's where almost all of us fishermen are a part of that. My grandfather was one of the original members. I think it was founded in 72. The Maine lobster industry is the most sustainable wild-caught fishery in the world, in my opinion. We have implemented many fishermen implemented conservation measures. So the way you see most fishing industries work is they'll be out there, fishing, and not to be down on, fishermen around the world or whatever, but a lot of times it isn't until the fishery is depleted or gets in bad shape that they put in measures that come from the government, usually to restrict how they fish or how much they can catch. In the state of Maine, the lobster industry, many years back, in my great-grandfather's time, they started to implement proactive conservation measures that all came really from the fishermen themselves.
Before legislation?
Before, yeah.
Okay.
And what we did was the fishermen had their conservation measures that they knew would work, that would keep the industry healthy and build the industry, quite frankly. And they took those measures to the government and had them implemented rather than the other way around. Now they've done things like, obviously they protected egg-bearing females. That's an easy one. But they went a step further and they decided to put a certain mark in that egg-bearing female's tail so that even when it dropped its eggs, that female would still be protected for the rest of her life.
Yep.
That was a big one. We obviously have a small size, so you're not keeping them too small, which is pretty common in fisheries. If you have a brook trout, it's got to be 6 inches long to keep, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever size limits. So they put in a small size limit, but they went a step further and they made it a slot, and they put in a size limit for large lobsters too. So you'll see huge lobsters on the market sometimes, but those are coming from Canada and some other New England states. They don't come from the state of Maine, because when they're over 5 inches long, which is essentially a 5 or 6 pound lobster, we don't keep those here in Maine, because female lobsters need a male lobster that's at least as big as they are to breed with. So you can protect all the females you want. If you're not protecting those big males that breed with them, you're not doing any good. So we protect all oversized lobsters. Once they get to a certain size, we throw them back.
So for a little bit more context there, so the females are 10,000 eggs per pound.
Roughly.
Is what they generate.
That's
roughly.
an estimate, yeah.
Yeah, and then of those 10,000 eggs, how many actually make it? You said it was
3, 4.
So if you take a 3-pound female,
Mm-hmm.
she'll have 12 successful lobsters
Maybe.
ish.
Yeah.
And she's a good sized female, so she
Yeah.
needs that big male
That's
to
right.
breed with. Okay.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important to protect them all, because such a small rate will actually make it to maturity.
Makes sense.
Those-
And you guys were smart enough a long time ago to go that if we overfish the hell out of this, we won't have business next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So what that amounts to for us fishing is that we're essentially not just fishermen, but we sort of act like farmers, where we're feeding the resource, like farmers feed the ground with fertilizer to grow their crops. That's what we're doing with the lobsters. We put the bait in the trap, which draws the lobsters in. But when we haul up a trap, we'll generally throw back 90% of what we catch. They come in, they feed, and then we just release them back to the ocean completely unharmed, but with their stomachs full.
Yep.
So we've got hundreds of feeding stations out there, which has also been big for the industry because it helps the lobsters survive, it helps them grow, it helps their shells grow faster, and it keeps them from preying on each other. It gives the lobsters and the crabs something to feed on.
Yep.
Because they
Makes sense.
will cannibalize each other in the wild. A lobster will eat another lobster, especially a vulnerable one that's just shed. They'll eat their own. So we're out there with all these feeding stations, feeding them, throwing back 90% of what we catch. A lot of the stuff that comes in the trap will crawl right back out. We also put in escape vents so that all the small lobsters can go out.
okay.
Very efficient traps. We don't catch much bycatch, although occasionally a fish or two will get caught up in there when we haul it. I think most of the time they could swim out, but sometimes we just happen to haul it while they're in there. So
Right.
we'll get a fish occasionally here and there. We don't catch very many small lobsters or crabs because they crawl out the vents. So the traps are very efficient at targeting what we're looking for, which are lobsters between a pound and 5 pounds. And even those ones, many of them will be under the measure. We'll throw them back. We'll have our punch tails, our oversized, our egg bearing females, which we punch and throw back. So
Well, I know you got to get back. So actually, we probably should do this. What's your name?
I'm Billy Bob Faulkingham. My channel is Lobster Bros.
And I'll drop that link in the description and all that good stuff.
And this is Winter Harbor, and this is where I fish.
It's a beautiful place, man. So that was our, I don't know what you call that, but that was our,
What's it called? A meeting or I had the word inside my head. Not a meeting. It's like another word for meeting. It's like
interview sounds
Interview.
too something. But yeah, that was our thing with Billy Bob Faulkingham of Lobster Bros. Super cool guy, and it was really cool for him having us down. See you guys.